right, let's jump right in. Today, we're going to break down a sales philosophy that's not just a tweak, it's a total game changer. It's called gap selling, and we're getting the inside scoop straight from its creator, Keenan, to really understand why the old way of selling is so broken, and more importantly, how we can fix it.
And, Keenan really doesn't pull any punches. He kicks things off with this super blunt statement. But this isn't just for shock value. Not at all. It's his diagnosis of a massive problem that's running rampant through the entire sales world, a problem that's making buyers miserable and absolutely killing deals. So, just how bad is it?
Well, it's this bad. A jaw-dropping 50% of buyers say they've bought the wrong product to solve their problem. I mean, think about that. Half. That's not just a little mistake. That's a complete systemic failure. It's a giant red flag telling us that the way we're selling things is totally disconnected from what people actually need. So what is going on here? What's causing this crisis? Why are we getting it wrong half the time? Well, it's not just one simple thing. Keenan basically describes it as this perfect storm of issues that's pushed the sales industry to its breaking point. So here's the breakdown. We've got this massive obsession with shiny new sales tools, but at the same time, we've kind of forgotten how to actually sell. We've lost the fundamental skills, and the result? Buyers are just fed up. They don't see any value in talking to salespeople. So everyone defaults to just talking about the product. The buyer says, "Hey, I need this," and the seller says, "Great, I've got that." And nobody ever stops to ask the most important question. Is this the right thing? And this is where Keenan gives us this brilliant analogy that just makes everything click. He asks you to imagine you're feeling sick, and you have to choose between two very, very different doctors. The difference is just night and day. On one side, you have Dr. A. He's just an order taker. You walk in, you say, indigestion, and boom, he writes you a prescription for indigestion pills. No questions asked. The danger, of course, is that he could be missing something huge, like pancreatic cancer. But then you have Dr. B. She is a true diagnostician. She leans in, she asks questions. How bad is the pain? Where does it hurt? How long has this been going on? She runs tests to find the actual root cause before she even thinks about a solution.
And here is the gut punch. The vast majority of salespeople today are acting like Dr. A. They just hear a symptom, push a product, and move on to the next call. This isn't just sloppy work. Keenan calls it exactly what it is: sales malpractice. And it's the direct cause of that shocking 50% failure rate we just talked about.
Okay, so if being an order taker is the problem, what's the solution? Well, it's simple. You have to become Dr. B. You have to become a diagnostician. And that is exactly what the gap selling framework teaches you how to do. It's a simple but incredibly powerful process for finding out what's really going on. The whole gap framework really boils down to these three critical steps. First, you have to identify the problem they think they have. Second, you have to dig way deeper to find the actual root cause. And third, and honestly, this is the most important part, you have to uncover the real-world impact of that problem. So first up is the problem. Just think of this as the customer's current unhappy situation. It's the symptom they come to you with. Things like, we need more leads, or our conversion rates are terrible. This is your starting point, but it's really just the tip of the iceberg. Now, this next part is a huge mental shift. You don't actually solve the problem. You can't. You can only solve what's causing it. So if a company's conversion rate is low, you have to ask why. Is their product confusing? Is their sales team not trained well? Is their website terrible? You have to find the specific root causes that your solution is actually designed to fix. And finally, we have impact. This is the big one. This is the dollars and cents, the real-world pain that the problem is causing. How much money are they losing? How many customers are they missing out on? This is everything. The impact is what creates the urgency. It's the entire business case for doing something, anything, to change. Actually, let's double-click on impact for a second because it's so critical. This is the part of the sale where deals are truly won or lost. You can have the perfect product for a real problem, but if you don't understand the impact, you'll still lose. Keenan just puts it so perfectly here. He's saying, look, if the pain of the problem, the financial and emotional impact, isn't big enough, a customer just won't do anything. Why would they? The pain of staying the same is less than the pain and cost of changing, so they just live with it. Let me give you a crazy real-world example. Keenan was working with a client selling to this enormous mining company. Their diagnosis was flawless. They found that unplanned equipment downtime was costing the company up to $400 million a year. I mean, that sounds like a total slam dunk deal, right? But it wasn't. The deal completely stalled out.
It went nowhere. And you have to ask, why? How is that even possible? Because for a company that makes $75 billion a year, a $400 million problem, well, it's just not a five-alarm fire. The relative impact just wasn't big enough to get the top execs to act. Okay, so this brings us to the final and maybe the most important piece of this entire philosophy. What happens when your expert diagnosis, your amazing Dr. B work, leads you to a really uncomfortable conclusion? I mean, this is the ultimate test, right? You've done all the hard work, you've uncovered the problem, you've found the root cause, you've calculated the impact, and then you get this sinking feeling in your gut. The real root cause, it's just not something your product can actually fix. So, what do? According to Gap Selling, there's only one right answer. You have to be honest. You have to disqualify them. You have to look them in the eye and say, you know what? I don't think we're the best fit for you. And if you're a real pro, you recommend someone who is. You send them to the right doctor. And this is what makes it so profound. Keenan argues that this choice, it's not a sales tactic. It's not a strategy. At the end of the day, this is a question about your character. It's about your integrity. Are you really here to help people solve their problems, or are you just here to hit a number no matter what it costs the customer? And here's the beautiful thing. Doing the right thing is also the smartest thing for your career. It shows that your job is to actually help, not just to sell. That kind of honesty builds a reputation and a level of trust that will pay you back for years. Plus, it stops you from signing a bad fit customer who's just going to churn in 6 months. And critically, it frees up your time to focus on the deals that you can actually win and the customers you can make truly successful. So I want to leave you with this, a real gut check question. Imagine your biggest deal in your pipeline right now. Your quota is on the line. If your diagnosis showed, without a doubt, that you were not the right solution, what would you do? Really think about it, because your answer to that question, it reveals everything.